Let me ask you something. When was the last time a game actually stayed with you? Not just fun or flashy, but something that hit you so hard, you kept thinking about it days, weeks, maybe even years later. Today, we're not just talking about great games, we're diving into the essentials. The ones that broke the rules, rewrote what games could be, and left a permanent mark on everyone who picked up a controller. If you love stories, unforgettable moments, and the kind of gameplay that makes you feel something, you're in the right place. Before we start the video, a quick question. Has this ever happened to you? You love the game, the story's great, the world is awesome, but then the grind kicks in. Hours and hours just to level up, or that one boss you just can't beat, and eventually, you give up. Even though deep down you really want to see what comes next. So yeah, Xmod is the solution if you're tired of wasting hours just to enjoy your game. It's a platform that supports over 5,000 single-player games, and with it, you can apply mods and cheats with just one click. Want to skip the grind? Get unlimited gold? Health, mana, stamina, weapons, whatever it is, Xmod probably has it. And the best part? You don't need to know anything about modding. Just launch the game, click the mod you want, and that's it. Instant power-up. Everything's in one place. Trainers, cheats, cosmetic mods, visual upgrades, all neatly organized by game and just one click away. You don't have to worry about viruses or getting banned either. It's 100% safe to use with your Steam account and other platforms, as long as you stick to single-player games. And if anything goes wrong, there's live support ready to help you out. And it's even easier to install it. Click the link in the description or in the pinned comment and download Xmod for free. Then launch your game and activate the mod you want. And boom, in 2 clicks, you're playing the way you want to play. Seriously, just by downloading it through my link, you're already helping the channel a lot, even if you're just testing it out. So give it a shot, it's free, and you'll be surprised by how many games, cool features, and awesome mods it already supports. Try it out and let me know in the comments how it went. In a world full of open-world games that love to hold your hand, Breath of the Wild did the complete opposite. It threw you into the wild with nothing but a vague direction and said, figure it out. And that's exactly what made it special. The game trusts you and doesn't waste time explaining everything. It lets you climb any mountain you see, glide across valleys, cook your own meals, fight however you want, and solve problems in ways that feel like your own. The world feels alive in ways most games only dream of. Weather changes your plans, physics let you pull off insane tricks, fire spreads, metal conducts electricity, and temperature matters. You'll find yourself experimenting with random stuff just to see what happens. Toss a metal sword during a thunderstorm and watch it attract lightning. Roll a boulder down a hill and wipe out a camp of enemies without lifting a finger. Little discoveries like these happen all the time. Not because the game told you to do it, but because you felt like trying something wild. Then Tears of the Kingdom dropped and somehow pushed everything further. It gave you tools to build, fuse, fly, and mess with the world in ways that feel almost limitless. You can build a flying machine out of random scrap, fuse a stick to a pitchfork just to poke enemies from 10 feet away, or stack fans and rockets until you're halfway to the moon. Even the puzzles let you break the rules, finding weird but clever solutions the developers clearly didn't expect, but still made sure would work. Together, these 2 games didn't just change the rules, they wrote a new playbook. They proved that freedom isn't about map size, it's about choice, experimentation, and how personal your journey can feel. BioShock drops you into a city at the bottom of the ocean, where everything's broken, beautiful, and completely messed up. Rapture was supposed to be a paradise for the smartest and most powerful, but now it's just chaos, cracked walls, flickering lights, and people who've lost their minds chasing perfection. Instead of just shooting your way forward, the game throws in wild plasmid powers that let you control electricity, fire, and even swarms of insects. You can freeze enemies mid-fight or turn machines against them. But what really sticks with you isn't the action, it's the atmosphere. The place breathes with tension, and you're walking through rooms that feel like they've got stories trapped in the walls. Old recordings, blood-stained messages, and that constant heavy feeling like you're being watched. And then there's the Big Daddy. When you hear that heavy stomp or that low groan, you know you're in for something serious. You'll also run into these little sisters, creepy, wide-eyed kids who wander the ruins harvesting this powerful substance called Adam. They're always guarded by the Big Daddies, and the choice of whether to save or harvest them adds this heavy moral tension to the game. And the way BioShock tells its story is next level, as it doesn't shove cutscenes in your face. It lets the world speak for itself, layering its message in every crack and whisper. And that plot twist? It doesn't just flip the script, it makes you question everything you did to get there. Even now, it's one of the strongest examples of how games can mess with your head and still be fun as hell. There's something haunting about Shadow of the Colossus. It throws you into a silent, forgotten land with nothing but a loyal horse and a mission that feels both noble and deeply tragic. No towns to explore, no side quests to chase, just a vast, lonely world where the only goal is to bring someone back from the dead by defeating 16 giant colossi. Each colossus is its own beast. They're moving mountains, and taking one down isn't about brute force. You need to figure out how to climb them, when to strike, and how to survive. Every fight is different, and each one feels like a puzzle wrapped in danger. The music shifts with your actions, making each moment hit harder, and the silence between battles only makes the next encounter feel more intense. What makes it so powerful is that it doesn't explain much. You're left to interpret the story through the world itself. The ruins, the crumbling statues, the way the landscape changes as you progress. Everything adds layers to the story without saying a word. And as you keep going, there's this growing sense that maybe what you're doing isn't heroic at all. It's minimal, but that's what makes it unforgettable. It's not trying to entertain you every second. It's letting you breathe, reflect, and get completely lost in a journey that's as beautiful as it is heartbreaking.
This city is way too hot.
You're not just playing a game in Persona 5 Royal. You're living a full double life. One minute you're stuck in a classroom pretending to pay attention, and the next, you're diving into twisted alternate realities, stealing the rotten desires from the hearts of corrupt adults. It's a wild mix of school life and supernatural rebellion, and somehow it all fits together perfectly. What really makes it special is how deep everything goes. The turn-based combat isn't just stylish, it's smart. You've got to think ahead, use your team wisely, and figure out how to exploit every enemy's weakness. Every persona you collect adds new layers to the strategy, and there's always a new trick to learn. And the way the game handles its dungeons, called palaces, is next level. Each one is built around the twisted mind of a villain, turning their corrupted view of the world into a full-blown reality you have to break into and change from the inside. But it's not just about the battles. When you're not fighting, you're exploring Tokyo, hanging out with friends, taking on part-time jobs, and making decisions that shape the entire story. The connection with your teammates is the heart of it all. Each of them has a personal story that unfolds as you get closer, from dealing with trauma to standing up for what they believe in. You're not just leveling up stats, you're helping people grow, and the more time you spend with them, the stronger your team becomes in and out of combat. Persona 5 Royal builds on everything the original did right and adds even more events, more endings, new characters, and extra layers to the story that keep pulling you back in.
Persona! Fruity! There!
Where are they? Close. Coming. I can do it again if you want.
Got it. Let's go.
A Plague Tale Requiem doesn't just continue the story, but hits harder, feels bigger, and pulls you deeper into a brutal, beautiful world where danger is everywhere. This time, Amicia is fighting back. She's smarter, tougher, and has more ways to deal with the horrors closing in. The bond between her and Hugo is still the heart of everything, but now that bond is tested like never before. The world itself feels alive. Cities crumble, forests burn, and every corner is packed with detail that makes you stop and look. But don't get too comfortable. One second you're admiring the view, and the next you're running for your life through a swarm of rats or hiding from soldiers who won't think twice about killing you. There's also this sense of constant evolution, as you actually feel her growing with each chapter. The way she moves, the way she handles weapons, even how she reacts emotionally when things go south, it all changes over time. Combat is deeper and more flexible. You can approach situations in different ways, using tools, stealth, or brute force depending on how you want to play. Each move you make feels like part of a bigger plan, or a desperate last chance to stay alive. And the puzzles are smart, forcing you to really think instead of just going through the motions. What makes this game stand out is how it blends emotion and action. The soundtrack, the voice acting, the way scenes are directed like a movie. It all works together to create something that feels incredibly real.
The bastards.
Not this way. Not this way.
Yakuza is the kind of game that throws the rulebook out the window. One second, you're caught in a tense showdown between rival crime families. The next, you're singing karaoke in a chicken suit or helping a dominatrix learn how to be more intimidating. It's wild, unpredictable, and somehow it all works. That balance between gritty crime drama and absurd comedy is what gives the series its soul. Yakuza 0 is where it all begins. Set in the heart of 1980s Japan, the game captures the energy of a city buzzing with neon lights, underground deals, and larger-than-life personalities. You switch between two main characters, each dealing with their own personal struggles while climbing the ranks of the criminal underworld. Their stories hit hard, filled with twists, emotion, and moments that feel genuinely human. The combat is a highlight on its own. Each character has unique fighting styles that evolve as you progress, letting you chain combos, dodge incoming strikes, and slam enemies into anything nearby. It's raw, stylish, and incredibly satisfying. But here's the thing most people don't expect. There's an entire management sim hidden inside this brawler. One minute you're throwing punches in a back alley, the next you're running a cabaret club or building a real estate empire. And it's not some throwaway minigame either. These side hustles are deep, strategic, and oddly addictive with their own storylines and characters that tie into the bigger picture. What makes Yakuza 0 stand out isn't just the gameplay or the story, it's how fully it commits to its world. Every character, every location, every side story adds something meaningful. Final Fantasy VII Remake didn't just bring back a classic, it reimagined one of the most legendary RPGs of all time into something bold, cinematic, and emotionally explosive. It's a full-blown reinvention that blends stunning modern visuals, real-time combat with tactical depth, and a story that goes way beyond what anyone expected. The city of Midgar feels massive and alive. From its neon-soaked slums to the towering plates above, every corner is packed with detail. The game slows down when it needs to, giving space to smaller moments that hit just as hard as the big action scenes. And the characters? They've never felt more human. Cloud isn't just the quiet hero anymore. You see his doubts, his past, the weight he carries. Aerith and Tifa aren't sidekicks. They're central, fully realized, and unforgettable. And Barrett brings fire and heart to every scene he's in. Every bit of dialogue feels natural. Every cutscene flows like a movie, and the voice acting adds a whole new layer of emotion. The new combat system throws turn-based rules out the window. You're in control, switching between characters, slowing down time to unleash powerful skills, dodging, blocking, and reading enemy patterns. It's fast, it's strategic, and it never gets boring. But what really makes this remake special is how it plays with your expectations. Even if you know the original by heart, this version takes new risks. It expands the story, twists familiar moments, and hints at something much bigger going on behind the scenes. It respects the past, but it's not afraid to carve its own path. Of course, not everyone was on board with how the story shifted. especially when the whole alternate realities angle came into play. I'll be honest, I was hoping for something a little more grounded, something that stuck closer to the emotional core of the original. But even if it wasn't exactly what I expected, I'm keeping an open mind. There's still so much we don't know, and if Part 3 manages to tie all these threads together in a way that hits hard and makes sense, it might all be worth it. Not every game needs bullets flying and explosions to leave a mark. Some just tell a human story so raw and honest that it sticks with you long after you put the controller down. That's exactly what Valiant Hearts: The Great War does. It's not a game about being the hero. It's about surviving a world that's falling apart and holding on to your humanity while everything around you is crumbling. Set in the middle of World War I, this game drops you into the lives of ordinary people swept up in a conflict way bigger than themselves. A soldier separated from his family, a medic trying to save lives in a place where death is everywhere, a young man forced into a fight he never asked for. Each character's path crosses in ways that feel natural, heavy, and heartbreaking. The game might look like a cartoon, but don't let that fool you. Behind the simple art style is a brutal reality. You'll walk through muddy trenches, witness senseless destruction, and feel the fear of not knowing if the next step could be your last. The puzzles aren't just there to slow you down. They're part of the story, showing how people had to think fast, adapt, and fight to survive without always picking up a weapon. And then there's the music. It doesn't scream for your attention, it just quietly breaks your heart in the background, one piano note at a time. Combine that with real facts from the war, like letters, dates, and historical context, and what you get isn't just a game. It's a lesson in empathy. It's a reminder of what war costs. Not just in lives, but in love, in hope, and in the small moments that never get written into history books. Alan Wake 2 doesn't just continue a story, it drags you straight into a nightmare that feels more real than most games ever dare to show. From the first few minutes, it's clear this isn't just a horror game. It's a full-on descent into madness, with storytelling so sharp and immersive, you start questioning what's real and what isn't. Everything about it feels carefully crafted to mess with your head. One second you're piecing together clues in the real world, and the next, you're trapped in a twisted version of reality where nothing makes sense but everything matters. The transitions between calm and chaos are so smooth they catch you off guard. What really blows your mind is how the game blends live-action footage into the gameplay without it ever feeling forced. One moment you're controlling Alan, and the next you're watching him inside what looks like a real TV show. Combat isn't just about pulling the trigger either. It's about reading the room, managing resources, and staying one step ahead of whatever nightmare is crawling toward you. Light becomes your lifeline, not just a tool. And when the lights go out, the tension ramps up to a whole new level. Visually, the game is insane. Shadows shift like they're alive. Environments feel cold, haunted, and oddly beautiful. The lighting alone creates this constant sense of unease that makes you want to keep going, but also makes you afraid to take the next step. But all that beauty comes at a cost. This game isn't just a visual showcase, it's a hardware killer. If your setup isn't ready for it, you're gonna feel it. High-end lighting effects, ray tracing, detailed environments, and all that dynamic shadow work push most PCs to their limit. Even on consoles, performance had to be carefully tuned just to keep the experience smooth. Six years after everything went to hell in Raccoon City, Leon is back on the front lines, thrown straight into another hellish situation. What starts as a high-priority rescue mission for the president's daughter turns into a descent into chaos, deep in a remote European village that feels completely off. The people there don't just act strange, they feel wrong. Their stares are blank, their movements are unnatural, and it doesn't take long before things go from weird to deadly. Resident Evil 4 is the game that flipped the survival horror genre on its head. It blended tense exploration with explosive action, forcing players to manage every bullet, think on their feet, and never feel truly safe. The remake takes all of that and dials it up across the board. The environments feel denser and more alive, with layers of atmosphere that constantly keep you on edge. The combat is sharper, more responsive, and gives you more freedom without losing the fear factor. Leon moves like a real professional now, and every encounter pushes you to adapt or die. Enemies are smarter and way more aggressive, so slipping up even once can cost you everything. The remake also gives a fresh spotlight to the knife, turning it from a last resort backup into a legit part of your arsenal. Now you can parry attacks, break grabs, and even counter deadly blows with the right timing. But what makes the remake stand out isn't just the visual overhaul. It's how it adds new story beats, builds out the world, and gives the characters more weight. Leon's personality shines through more than ever, and the people he meets feel like actual characters, not just stepping stones along the way. The pacing is tight, the action hits hard, and the horror still lingers long after you put the controller down.
Holy purpose!
Baldur's Gate 3 is a full-blown role-playing playground where every choice actually changes the way the story plays out. You start by building your character from the ground up, choosing from dozens of combinations across races, classes, and backgrounds. And this isn't just about stats or cosmetics. Every decision you make shapes how the world reacts to you, how your party sees you, and even what paths open up or close forever. What makes it really stand out is the freedom. You're not stuck on rails or forced down a set path. You can talk your way out of trouble, pick fights with powerful enemies way before you're ready, or dive into secret storylines most players might never even see. The game doesn't punish experimentation, it thrives on it. The systems are so open that almost any wild idea you come up with can be pulled off, especially during combat. Speaking of combat, it's turn-based and tactical, but never slow or boring. Every fight feels like a puzzle, with terrain, magic, and positioning all playing a role. The dice rolls bring just enough chaos to keep things exciting, without making it feel unfair. You'll find yourself planning moves like a chess match one moment, and improvising wildly the next. That freedom also extends to how the world reacts when you break the rules. Steal something in front of a merchant and they'll remember it. Use a powerful spell in the wrong place, and you might wipe out an entire town by accident. Some of the wildest moments don't come from the main story, but from unexpected chain reactions that spiral out of a single choice. The writing is sharp, emotional, and at times completely unhinged in the best way possible. Your companions aren't just there to fill out the party, they've got deep, branching arcs that evolve depending on how you treat them. One minute you're laughing at some ridiculous interaction, and the next you're in the middle of a dramatic turning point that changes everything. Baldur's Gate 3 is the kind of game where 100 hours still doesn't feel like enough. There's always something new to discover, and no two playthroughs feel the same.
Tormented!
Most RPGs hand you a weapon and push you into battle. But Disco Elysium flips everything on its head. You wake up as a wreck of a man, lying half naked in a filthy motel room, hungover and confused. No memory of who you are or how you got there. Just fragments of thoughts, regrets, and a city that doesn't care if you figure it out. This isn't a game about fighting. It's about digging into your own mind and using conversation as your weapon. Every word you choose, every idea you entertain, reshapes the story. Instead of stats like strength or dexterity, you build up skills like logic, empathy, drama, and even your inner voice. What makes everything even more wild is how your own thoughts can start arguing with you. The game gives a voice to different parts of your brain, and they all have something to say. One moment, your sense of authority might be hyping you up, and the next your fear kicks in, making you doubt everything. The world of Revachol feels broken and alive at the same time. Streets echo with the weight of past revolutions, and people carry pain and secrets in their eyes. As you investigate a murder, you uncover much more than a crime. You unravel political ideologies, lost dreams, and your own fractured identity. And the way you handle each situation can shift everything, from how people see you to how you see yourself. Disco Elysium is raw, honest, and brutally smart. It doesn't care if you win, it wants you to understand. And maybe, just maybe, to change.
In the shadow of the old church.
I don't know. The abandoned kind? No problem. Of course.
The Last of Us is a gut punch of a story wrapped in a brutal survival experience, where every step feels like it matters. From the very first moments, it throws you into a world that's broken, violent, and heartbreakingly human. It's not about saving the world, it's about holding on to whatever pieces of it you still can. The remake takes all the raw emotion of the original and makes it hit even harder. Animations are smoother, facial expressions are more nuanced, and the world feels richer and more immersive. You see the pain in their eyes and feel the weight of every decision. The streets of what's left of civilization aren't just prettier. They're alive with tension, danger, and detail that makes every inch feel real. What really pulls you deeper into the experience is how smart the world around you feels. Enemies don't just stand around waiting to be taken out. They flank, communicate, and react to your moves. If you reload at the wrong time or get spotted, they'll push hard. And your allies aren't just background noise either. Ellie reacts to what's happening around her, calls out danger, and even helps out in fights. Combat stays grounded and intense. It's not flashy or over the top. It's dirty, desperate, and all about survival. Whether you're sneaking through crumbling buildings or caught in a sudden shootout, every bullet, every brick, every swing counts. There's strategy behind every move, but it never breaks the flow of the moment. At first, the price tag turned some heads, but now, this remake stands as the ultimate way to experience one of gaming's most unforgettable journeys.
Come on, I'll walk you part way.
When Human Revolution dropped, it wasn't just another sci-fi shooter. It felt like a glimpse into a future that was a little too close for comfort. You step into a gritty, high-tech world where cybernetic upgrades are everywhere, and every choice feels like it actually matters. Sneak past guards without making a sound, hack into locked doors and security systems, or go full assault mode with a deadly arsenal. The beauty is in how it all fits your style. You play as Adam Jensen, a guy who didn't ask for this life but is forced to live it after a brutal attack leaves him heavily augmented. The world around him is cold, divided, and full of hidden agendas. Corporate corruption, political manipulation, and human evolution all clash in a story that pulls you deep and doesn't let go. The environments are layered and smartly built, giving you different ways to approach every objective. Whether you're crawling through vents or bluffing your way past guards, it all feels natural and reactive. One of the coolest parts is how the game blends its cyberpunk vibe with real-world themes. You'll walk through neon-lit alleys packed with protesters, overhear heated arguments about whether augmented people should have rights, and feel the tension in every corner of the city.
Risk letting anyone try to play you.
Kratos used to be all rage and destruction, tearing through gods without a second thought. But in the latest God of War, everything changed. This isn't just another brutal hack and slash. It's a deeply personal story about a man trying to become something better for his son, even while battling monsters, giants, and his own past. The game doesn't just show growth through cutscenes. You feel it in every interaction between Kratos and Atreus, in every decision they make, and in every silent moment they share on their journey. The world feels massive and alive. From snowy peaks to ancient ruins, every area is packed with detail, secrets, and challenges that actually matter. There's no filler here, and exploring isn't just about loot. It's about uncovering pieces of a world built on myth and pain. And yeah, the combat is brutal and satisfying. The Leviathan axe is one of the most iconic weapons in gaming now. You can feel the weight of it when you throw it, and the impact when it slams back into your hand. It's clean, responsive, and hits hard. What really sets it apart is how everything ties together. The combat, the story, the exploration, they all feed into this larger emotional journey. One where Kratos isn't just trying to survive, he's trying to teach, to protect, and to change. It's about becoming someone worth following. That's why it kind of stings that Ragnarok, as great as it is, felt like it wrapped things up a little too fast. The emotional beats still hit, the gameplay is tight, and the story has some incredible moments. But there was so much going on, so many threads coming together, it felt like it needed more time to breathe. Another game could have taken that build-up and given it space to land harder. Ending the Norse saga in just 2 parts made it feel a bit rushed, like they had more to say but had to fit it all into one final act. So now I want to hear from you. Which one of these games hit you the hardest? Or maybe there's one that I missed and you think deserves a spot. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read all of them. And if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It seriously helps a lot. Thanks for sticking around till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.